Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Well, it has been quite a while since I've been on here. I'm very sorry, but I am back. Christmas has come and Christmas has gone. Today, I kind of wanted to do sort of a different video for you guys. I am all about decorating challenges. If there's something that you don't like in your decor, you can always redo it. But there are some times where there are some architectural issues that you can't necessarily fix. I have learned over the past few years how to hide them. So today I'm going to walk you through and show you some of my secrets that I have done in this space that you probably haven't ever noticed before. So let me show you the first flaw that I have with this room. Do you see something that I see? These two windows are at two different heights, and you know, for a long time it bugged me so bad because the only thing that I could do is have this window bumped down to be the same as this one, or have this window raised. Well, that is not practical, and that is not something that is very budget friendly. But let me show you what I do. So what I've done to kind of disguise this is I've put valances above both of these windows. Now I should mention that these are lined, so no light from this window will actually shine through. Then what this valance does is this actually covers the drywall that's above the window. Now let me ask you guys something. If I wouldn't have pointed that out, would you guys have known that? Here's another thing I did. Since this window is down lower, that means that it is lower to the floor. This one would be higher. The window actually sits to above, probably about right here. So by putting the couch in front of this window, you never notice the heights and you just think that there are two really long windows in here. And for the cost of about $35, I was able to get the curtains and the rods. And another thing that I do is I use the rods that wrap around. That way you can't see from the side that the windows are different heights. So this is the entryway to this room. And you know, this is kind of a very interesting place because this is probably where I have used a lot more tricks than I have in any other place in my home. Let's start with this curtain back here. Now this curtain, usually you would have a doorway to a room. Well, I chose to use a white curtain, and let me show you why. Now if you notice on either side here, I have lights up here. Now, the cords go across the ceiling and they actually go behind here. It was very, very ugly looking, and I did not like how the finished result turned out, but I loved how the lights were. But those wires have to go somewhere. So what I did was, now these are on a dimmer, so that means that they have a little transformer box that you can change the brightness of. So with just a tap of my finger, I can change the brightness. But that box has to go somewhere as well. So let me show you what I did. So what I did was I got a curtain rod that hung from the wall just a little bit. And look, right there is that transformer and all of that unsightly wiring that needed to be there. But by using this curtain with a little bit of fringe at the top, you would never know that it's there. Now while we're here, I want to talk about this doorway. This is a doorway that I did probably 1 or 2 years ago. If you notice the top, there are a lot of fancy details on here, and you're probably thinking that it costs a lot of money. Gotta be honest, after paying for supplies to do this whole doorway, I probably spent about $50. Let me tell you one of the reasons why I did this. So my curtains pretty much go to the ceiling. This doorway stopped about right here, and I didn't like that because it made this feel really short compared to everything else. So what I thought of was if I did this right above the door, it would raise it up. And this gap is the same gap that I have in between the top of the valances that are going on my windows. Let me just tell you how this is constructed. There is a panel of wood right here that goes across here because I wanted this part right here, like this chunk, to be raised out a little bit more than this door frame. There is 1-inch trim that goes the whole way around here, and then all this is a piece of crown molding. I used screws and a nail gun to put it all together, and I love how it turned out. One other little detail that I will mention is you'll notice a piece of trim here that kind of looks to be out of place. Let me tell you what happened. So while I was building this, I wanted this gap in here to be a little bit bigger than it was. So the only way that I could do that is I wanted to drop this down. Well, if you do it on the other side, it doesn't look finished. So I just took a piece of scrap wood that I had and made sort of like a furring strip and just placed it right along here. That way it was able to drop down and it made this whole thing a little bit thicker than it actually was. So another thing that I did in this entryway is I wanted to do sort of like a built-in look. Well, that can get pretty expensive. I got this dry sink cabinet for like $50 off of the Facebook Marketplace, and it fit in here just right. It gave me a place to set some stuff to make it decorative, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to put a shelf up here. Now I did do an episode on how I built this shelf, but here's what I did. This shelf may look like it's randomly placed there, but I want to tell you what I did. I got this TV cabinet, which I've done an episode on how I've decorated it, but just to keep a consistent line between the two spaces, this cabinet is actually the same height as this shelf. That way, when you're looking at this, the line just goes the whole way across. And actually, when I built this, I mimicked this. I used the same trim, and I used just a plain strip of wood just to go across here. Then on the other side, I have my dresser. Now, the dresser did not go the whole way across here. So what I did was I just took another piece of scrap wood, filled in the gap, and painted it the same color. And this is actually one of my favorite spaces just because I love all the tricks that I've done. So another little trick that I did in this room is these ceilings are only 7 foot 1 inch. That is not the standard ceiling height in America. So what it did was it left me with a challenge of if I painted the ceiling white or off-white like normal people do, it kind of brought the ceiling down, and I didn't like that. I felt like the whole room was kind of just caving in on me. So I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but I actually painted the ceiling the exact same color as the walls. And what that did was, if you're looking at this really quick, you don't see that harsh white color on the ceiling. It kind of distracts you from looking at the ceiling since it's a different color. If you want something to disappear, paint it the same color as your walls or the items that are around it. So guys, what did you guys think of this video? I just thought that it would be kind of fun to take you through some of the shortcuts or sneaky ways of how I've disguised some things that bothered me architecturally in this room. I hope they were helpful for you, and I think that they're pretty budget friendly and can be established at any time in your life. And when it's all said and done, I am not rich. I am not a professional interior designer. You just have to think outside of the box of how you can fix some things that bother you. So you might notice that I am living in a pretty blank slate of a room right now. Well, I can tell you in the next episode, I'm gonna be taking you on a little tour of how I've decorated this room for the beginning of spring. So don't forget to subscribe down below so you don't miss that. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment down below. All right, I need to go get started on my decorating, so I will see you guys in the next video. See you next time.